let's talk about this article courtesy of The Guardian. I know some of these Guardian op-eds can be a little bit, clickbaity, but I feel like this title and I feel like what this person has wrote has definitely resonated with me based on what I've been experiencing this last couple of weeks or so. This weird realization, this somewhat surprising realization. Some of you might call me naive. Some of you might even call me stupid. But I have just realized in the past couple of weeks that maybe my Lord and Savior Elon Musk isn't as smart as I thought he was. Maybe my Lord and Savior Elon Musk isn't as smart or isn't as intelligent as I once thought he was. Now, don't get me wrong. I fell in love with Elon. I was a fan of Elon before the Elon that we know and all hate now. Right? When I first got into Elon was around the time when that autobiography, unofficial one, by a lady called Ashley Vance was made, which is a really good autobiography. It might have been one of the first audiobooks I listened to actually on Audible. Big up Audible. Back when I had like a little sponsorship going on there with them. I'll probably have to reach out to them again, see if I can get sponsored again, because that was a really good sponsor, having Audible kind of send me free codes and shit. But when I had an Audible sponsorship, I was able to get some free books per month. And one of the first books that I read or listened to was this semi, I guess unofficial autobiography about Elon Musk, courtesy of this lady called Ashley Vance. And it was an incredible autobiography. It really did kind of give you an accurate portrayal of the good and the bad of Elon at that time. He was very much still, I think, more of a geek and a businessman and less caring about social media and want to be a celebrity. And everything around him just seemed, fantastical. The idea that he was setting up all these different companies, he was trying to revolutionize space travel, he was trying to revolutionize electric cars, he was trying to revolutionize transport with the Boring Company. He was doing all these amazing things that made you want to dream. And I think it also came about at a time when I was kind of getting bored with Apple's consistent but yet not very revolutionary designs when it came to the iPhone. They weren't really releasing anything that interesting. Most of the things they were releasing just ended up kind of looking the same. There was no real innovation in the tech world. So you see this one tech startup founder who isn't just making apps, right? That's the thing you have to give Elon credit for. He's not just making fucking apps. He's not creating crappy games. He's not doing rug pulls for the most part. He's trying to create a better future. So when I was more of a techno optimist, let's say, I was in love with Elon because of that. Oh my God, this guy, is a real life Iron Man, right? He's a real life fucking Iron Man. He's doing all these amazing things, and potentially the things that he's doing could maybe get us to the point where we might start living like we're in the Jetsons. That's something I was always kind of, obsessed with. Oh my God, look at what they had in the Jetsons. Look how cool it was. And that was set around these sort of times, but we are nowhere closer to having houses, above the clouds or having flying cars. We are far, far, far away from that. The adoption of EVs has just kind of gotten started, the last decade or so. So we're very far away from having flying cars. But Elon seemed to be the closest thing when it came to tech startup founders that was doing that. He wasn't creating an app. He wasn't producing another fucking iPhone clone. He was doing some interesting things. Now, along the way, my mind has been somewhat changed because I just couldn't, more so because of my own effort. Weird to say this, right? Maybe I'm kind of putting myself into this too much, but my mind on Elon kind of got changed due to my own efforts. So I'm trying to make it and doing the things that I'm trying to do now at the moment. The podcasting, the streaming, the DJing, the design, all this amazing stuff that I'm doing at the moment, right? And I set myself these little monthly challenges. I've got this New Year's resolution challenge that I'm doing. And yes, don't get me wrong, my time, I'm afforded a lot more time during the day because I don't have a set 9 to 5 anymore. So that allows me more time in the day to do the things that I want. But I was still finding that the fact that I was, being a little bit more intentional with my actions and I was trying really hard to make this stuff work for me, I was finding that every day I was really tired and I didn't have enough time to actually finish the things that I wanted to do. Even the things that were the top priority for me to do, the things that I'm trying to achieve in order to fucking realize my dreams, I was not able to do because there physically wasn't enough time in the day to do everything. I physically couldn't do everything. So I thought to myself, if I'm getting tired with my little shitty self-imposed list that doesn't really contribute to the world and is pretty self-serving, I have no real employees, I'm not running a big company, I'm not doing this. If I'm tired, how possibly can this guy who allegedly is on social media all the time and allegedly he's a CEO or the chief technical director or whatever, all these companies, is actually hands-on, how could he be running these companies if he's on social media all the time? Like, how is he not tired and I am? And I'm doing far less than what he's doing. Something has to give. Now, looking at Elon, he's not the most physically fit person in the world. He doesn't strike me as somebody that you would call a quote-unquote beast in terms of his workout regimen or in terms of how much he runs or even just in terms of his energy. He seems kind of sloppy and a little bit, rotund and weirdly shaped. So it definitely can't be a fitness thing. So it made me realize really quickly a sobering reality that, or sobering realization, this guy maybe isn't doing all the things that he says he's doing. And maybe he's like exaggerating, if not lying, about how much of a big deal he actually is. And in fact, he's more of a loser than he is this amazing maverick inventor guy. That's what I realized due to my own effort I was putting into work. I was thinking, you know what? If I'm getting tired doing what I'm doing, I can't imagine how this guy is functioning, how he's still tweeting, how he's still on social media so much, how he's in the comments, how he's making memes, how he's making AI images with Gronk and stuff. Like, how is he doing all this? How does he have time to do all this stuff when he's allegedly running 4 companies at the same time? It makes no fucking sense. So this article was very timely because of that realization. This is courtesy of The Guardian. The title of the article is, I knew one day I'd have to watch powerful men burn the world down. I just didn't expect them to be such losers. It's a very accurate portrayal, a very accurate title, that perfectly describes how most of us are feeling about our our tech overlords, or as a podcast cringe has to say, our tech oligarchs. How they're making us feel. They promise us a better future, but instead they're just hardcore losers. Yo, big up Richie, big up Richie.
Please let us know if you're covering Fashion Week in Milan or LVX Nigo FW show Tuesday. Also, I hope and pray you're still not behind Drake cause he's suing streamers like you, mate.
Yeah, big up Richie. Yeah, I'll be covering all the Milan stuff. I'll be here every day anyway. I'll be covering all the Milan Fashion Week stuff. Any brands that I see that I'm interested in, I'll be covering. I actually need to go through. I'll go through the calendar on Monday. I'll probably go through the calendar on the Monday stream. So keep an eye out for that one, Richie. I'll be here on Monday. I'll go through the Milan Fashion Week calendar on Monday. I'll probably ramp up the content on Fashion Week during Paris, because Paris is definitely my time to kind of check out stuff, because that's usually some of the best men's shows happen in Paris. And then of course, before that, it's London, isn't it? So I'll probably do London and Paris, but I will do a bit of Milan and see what's there. So keep an eye out. I'll be here on Monday, and I'll definitely do that. So big up Richie, I appreciate you, brother. And am I still behind Drake? Yeah, I'm still behind Drake. I'm disappointed in the lawsuit, don't get me wrong. I am still behind him though. It more so that, I guess you have to pick a side in this kind of battle and war. It seems illogical, don't get me wrong. But I am really disappointed in the lawsuit. I'm more disappointed that he didn't pursue the one against UMG and Spotify, because I think that would have been really interesting to see what would have came out during discovery, what would have came out if he went to trial. I was really interested to see that lawsuit. Him pursuing the defamation thing is really disappointing. I really wanted that UMG Spotify one to go through so we could see what actually goes on behind the scenes. But one thing I've kind of taken away from it now, and I'm not going to feel guilty about going forward with my shit, one thing that I've taken a lot of satisfaction from, it seems like in the music industry, buying views is perfectly fine. Nobody cares. I guess people think buying views kind of puts you in front of people's eyes. So with my DJ mixes and stuff, if you start seeing 100,000 views on my DJ mixes, shh, don't say nothing. If you go on my channel that hardly has 100 subscribers, right? Big up Persistence Radio. Check the link in the fucking description. If you go to my Persistence Radio channel and you see I have a DJ mix that has over 100,000 plays, over 1 million plays, shh, don't say nothing. Because if Drake can do it, if Kendrick can do it, I don't want to hear you say jack shit about my video that has 1 million plays and 10 likes. Don't say a fucking thing, okay? Don't say anything. I don't want anyone to say anything about my DJ mixes. Shh. I'm trying to get myself booked in Berghain, okay? I'm trying to get myself booked in Berghain. I'm trying to get myself booked in Fold. I'm trying to get my own night at Paloma Bar. I'm trying to play at Robert Johnson. I'm trying to go play at Bassiani, right? I'm trying to play at Adonis. I'm trying to play at Inferno. Don't say nothing if you see one of my DJ mixes that has 5 likes, that has 1 million views. Don't say a damn thing, because if those guys can do it, I can do it. Okay? Cool. Let's continue on. So let's read the article here. Big up Rebecca Shaw from The Guardian. This is a very accurate looking picture too, by the way, of Elon announcing those glasses. Which is kind of unfair, to be fair, because I think those these AI glasses things that he's meant to be launching, I do think they're pretty cool. It's the first sort of product they've done that's really kind of interesting, I think, outside of the Meta sunglasses. So I'm curious to see when they do eventually come to market. But let's read the article anyway and see what she's saying. I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but everything seems to be going down the tubes fast. And not fun tubes like at a water park, the ending in shit kind. The issues are complicated. The reasons diverse, but there are a few culprits who have been making themselves extremely visible. And that's something I have to say might be at the heart of Elon's problem. Visibility. This refusal to just go away and do the work and pop out when you got something to launch or you got something to sell with these people is so annoying. They're really involved. They really want to be celebrities. They like being famous now. That's really one of the hardest things to wrangle. They're not just geeks that want to, you know, slave away and plow away at their work or on their craft in some garage, in some office somewhere, in some warehouse somewhere, and then pop out with, hey, here's this amazing thing that's going to change your life, that's going to make so-and-so more convenient, that's going to allow you to do X, Y, and Z. No, they want to give you their opinion on, so you know, on society, on politics, on housing. Now with Elon with the fucking LA fires, like, shut up. Shut up and make cars. Shut up and make the boring company work, mate. You want us to go underground and shit? Make that work. What are you talking about other stuff for, please? Anyway, alongside those holding political office, what do you call it? Oh, what's that? Tech gargillionaires. I didn't know that was a new word. That's that word. That's a fake word, isn't it? Alongside holding political office, tech gargillionaires, I had to invent a new number, like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, obviously wield huge global influence with their computer numbers and whatnot. There has been a lot written about them, and there will be more as they continue to shape the world and win in favor with Donald Trump. Big, scary, probably ruinous things lie ahead, but I'm here to discuss the small part, the insult to injury, the sprinkling of salt in the wound. Whether I'm engaging with the news or with Musk tweeting constantly like a man with no job or no friends, hey, or with Zuckerberg sending out weird videos and appearing on Rogan, I'm in pain. Not just because I don't like what they're doing, but because they're so incredibly, painfully cringe. This is so accurate. The level of cringe that you get from Elon and from Mark Zuckerberg is exponential, isn't it? And from most startup founders, from most of these guys, even from Joe Rogan. Rogan for me might be the most disappointing one. Because Rogan, there was a time where he was somewhat cool. Rogan was somewhat cool at one point. Not for the jiu-jitsu things, just because he was like an open-minded guy. When open-minded guy, I want to have conversations with everybody. Long-form conversations are the way to go. We can flesh out ideas. We can meet each other in the middle. Laughter heals all things. The importance of working out, being healthy, giving back to your community, helping out your friends, you know, all these amazing things. Being curious about the world around you, always asking questions, not going with common held beliefs, being malleable but also being strong and stern in your stances. But now Joe has just turned into a regular Republican boomer. That's been the most painful thing to see. Joe turning into a normal Republican boomer has crushed my soul, crushed my spirit. Because I, for one, was one of those losers that believed in Rogan. I believed in the gospel of JRE. Not the jiu-jitsu side of things. Not the stand-up comedy side of things. Stand-up comedy is the most important thing in the world. No. Just in more so about like how to live life. How to approach life. How to be chill. You know, how to get the most out of life. But essentially, he's just turned into one cringy old boomer. Let's continue. I knew that one day that we might have to watch the capitalism and the greed and the bigotry lead a world where powerful men, deserving or not, would burn it all down. What I didn't expect was, that I don't think I could ever foresee, was how incredibly cringe it would all be. I would have been prepared for evil, for greed, for cruelty, for injustice, but I did not anticipate that the people in power would also be such losers. We have to read that one more time because I fucked it up a bunch of times there. Let's read it one more because this needs to be emphasized. She's spitting here. I knew that one day we might have to watch as capitalism and greed, bigotry led to a world where powerful men, deserving or not, would burn it all down. What I didn't expect, and don't think I would have foreseen, is how incredibly cringe it would be. I would have been prepared for evil, for greed, for cruelty, for injustice, but I did not anticipate that the people in power would all be such losers. And that's the thing. They are such freaking losers. To our politicians, to our local officials, everybody is a fucking loser. News anchors, sometimes even our athletes. Even our athletes are meant to look at as gladiators. We're meant to look at them as kind of heroes, in Brendan Schaub's words. Even them, even those guys, even those ladies, losers. Capital L. Now, one thing I want to stress here is the deserving or not segment that she mentions. I think that's a good point to highlight because part of my aversion early on with the kind of Brendan Schaub hate was the idea that he was not deserving of the success that he was getting. And if anything, it kind of took away any value, it took away any kind of justice or whatever. It took away anything that those guys were saying about comedy being a meritocracy, about the best stand-up always winning, about if you're funny, people will laugh. All this sort of nonsense that those guys were selling you about the comedy store and whatever was gobbledygook when they platformed and basically put the battery in the back of a very mediocre, if not downright awful comedian in Brendan Schaub and allowed him to make money and go touring doing so. Now, for the audience, it was obviously annoying, but I couldn't imagine how frustrating that must have been for other comedians. For other comedians in that world who also maybe have the same outlook, the same perspective when it comes to comedy, about you have to earn it, about you have to be doing it for 10 years, you have to be doing triple runs, you have to be going on the road, you have to be doing sets and reps and blah, 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 blah. So all those comedians that believed in that gospel, to see Rogan just like pluck Brendan from obscurity, place him on his podcast and say, you need to be a stand-up comedian, and then poof, he's performing at the Comedy Store, poof, he's doing world tours, that must have really fucking hurt. And if anything, those sort of things are what lead to the erosion and to the degradation of great art. Because if people are standing there, one of the people that I love all the time to listen to is Tim Dillon. And Tim Dillon will argue against this and say that meritocracy is a myth. No one's deserving of anything. You get what you can out of life. You have to kind of, it's a real knife fight out there, as you would say. You have to scrap and crawl and scrape and punch and poke in the eye, punch in the fucking pussy. You have to do whatever needs to be done to get yourself over the line. But in the arts, if you persist with that way of thinking, that's where you get the Brendan Schaubs. If you want art to be art again, you have to reintroduce meritocracy. There has to be a place where people can say, this is good, this is bad. You've earned it, you didn't earn it. And in some cases, even though I hate this, maybe the reintroduction of gatekeepers. Maybe an reintroduction of gatekeepers to raise the level of artistry so that the barrier of entry is a little bit higher than what it is now, which is basically, if you have a heartbeat, you also can be a comedian. Nah, it should always be a barrier of entry. And because they took away that barrier of entry by, platforming their friends, picking and choosing who they platform, who happen to be some of the most unfunniest people in the world, they have contributed to the degradation of their art form in a weird way. It doesn't make sense, but it kind of does. Let's continue. I've always been someone who cannot tolerate embarrassment. I hate being embarrassed more than just about any other emotion, and I've always skipped content based on cringe humor, like Meet the Parents, Borat or Nathan For You. It always makes my skin crawl, it makes the contents of my stomach crawl out of my mouth, but I cannot skip world events. Embarrassment. What's the one emotion that makes me... The only emotion that I feel like I hate and will make me crash out is inadequacy, or like somebody trying to make you feel like you're less intelligent than what you are. I don't know what that emotion is, but maybe that's embarrassment. Whatever that embarrassment is, that is something I hate. Like, being made to feel stupid. Woo! I will go flipping crazy. Or I'll swallow it and then cry about it at home. Maybe one or two, who knows? I'll crash out. I'm going to act like a tough guy now on stream and on pod and say I'm going to crash out. But actually, I'm going to take it in the face. I'm going to swallow it and smile. And then I'm going to cry when I go home. like we all do. That's what I'm gonna do. It continues. Nor can I skip Musk's clear desperation. Even as he holds this much wealth and power in his hands to be thought of as cool, there are endless examples of him embarrassing himself while attempting to be funny or gain respect. Unfortunately, while you may have been able to while you may be able to buy power, it's impossible to buy a good personality. Watching his Nigel No Friends attempts to be popular, such an English way to put it. Big up Rebecca Shaw. Watching his Nigel No Friends attempt to be popular, his endless pathetic tweets that read as though they come from the brain of an 11-year-old poser, has made me start to believe we should bring back bullying. If yet another humiliating report in the last couple of days is yet to be believed, he appears to have lost the respect of some of his gamer audience who report claims suspects that he may have been lying about his achievements in hardcore gaming. Cursed sentence. That is so fucking true. What she's basically saying here is something that we all have known. You can't unlame a lame. Money doesn't make you cool. It just exasperates whatever issues or whatever personality you already have. We already know that, right? Most of us know that. Money doesn't make you a different person. It just highlights, exemplifies, exaggerates, puts on a bigger platform, on a bigger, louder volume. You're already annoying personality traits. So Elon was probably always like this. The money just made him worse. And then him trying to be cool is probably the closest, the furthest thing away from being cool. Which is also no surprise he didn't get into Berghain. I bet you he didn't get into Berghain not because he didn't, dress in a particular way, just because he kind of just gives off a vibe of somebody that's incredibly lame. So most likely that's why he didn't get in. Not the fact that he was Elon Musk and they didn't want to have him in because he's too famous. And if a famous guy goes in there, it might kind of increase the amount of people taking pictures and blah, 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 blah. No. I bet you one of the reasons why he probably didn't get into Berghain is because he's just so lame. He's a walking L. And I also find it interesting how The Guardian is mostly a left-leaning newspaper. They hate Musk so much, they think he's such a lame that they are willing to bring back bullying. Because there's something you wouldn't expect from like a quote-unquote woke paper. But them kind of, pushing for bullying in the name of getting Elon Musk the fuck out of here is fucking brilliant. It continues. Zuckerberg is a different kind of cringe, but cringe all the same. His cringe moments drip through more sparingly, but they do. My body tries to turn inside out of my belly button. His physical makeover from MAGA reasons, performing music because no one will stop him, trying to look cool on a surfboard, are all these extremely difficult to watch. He has been trying to suck up to Trump, going on Rogan's show to say society has been neutered and companies need more masculine energy. So, I have to be honest, right? I didn't mind his appearance on Rogan. I get he was trying to suck up to Rogan's audience a little bit, but if anything, I think the Rogan appearance was more his own politics changing in light of what happened with COVID. Because during COVID, Facebook got really raked over the coals. The government in America really held Facebook up by their neck against a wall. They were really demanding of them to do certain things, to stamp out misinformation, to push certain narratives, blah, 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 blah. So I'm not surprised that Zuck had a kind of quote unquote come to Jesus moment, because he had to really suffer because, the future of his company was at stake. He probably felt like if he didn't comply, they were going to come after him and probably take his company away from him or kill it completely. They probably have the power to do so. So I get why he complied, I get why he did so. But also understand, if you are a Republican, if you are conservative, I can get why Musk's pivot can be a little bit annoying, can seem very disingenuous. It can seem like he's trying to pander. I can definitely see that. But I think this is definitely more of a personal thing than it is him trying to suck up to, the people on the right, I would say. But who knows? It continues. Putting on what is clearly a bro disguise to join the boys club and sit at the big boys table, it should be humiliating. It came as Zuckerberg rolled back hate speech and fact-checking rules on Meta in a clear swerve to the right before Trump's inauguration. What could be more masculine and cool than selling out vulnerable communities and women to impress an alpha male? To be fair, I don't agree with this statement, but I do find it funny how easily he was able to reintroduce himself with a makeover. That is quite interesting though. No one really challenged him and pushed him on his previously held beliefs or challenged his new beliefs. or just kind of drilled him a little bit more. As soon as he had that fucking, that fucking hairstyle with the hair at the front, he put on an oversized t-shirt and wore a gold chain and started doing jujitsu. Everybody suddenly started calling him based. You haven't really heard him talk about certain things. You haven't really asked his opinion on, how many genders there are and that sort of stuff that Republicans ask. But they just believed him straight off the bat because he had an oversized boxy t-shirt and a gold chain. And he knows how to do a fucking omoplata. Come on, bro. It continues. Climate crisis keeps coming. Genocides continue. Women keep getting murdered. Art is being strangled to death by AI. Bigotry is on the rise. Social progress is being rolled back. And these men insist on being cringe. It's a rotten cherry on top. This combination of evil and embarrassment is a unique horror. One that science fiction has failed to prepare us for. The second-hand embarrassment we have to endure even gets more potent when combined with other modern influences of young men like Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate. Yeah, the Peterson fucking fall off has been so sad to watch, man. Especially considering that I went to watch him give a speech once when he released 12 Rules for Life. I went to watch his speech. I think he did it at some place near like the Big Ben. I forgot the location, but I remember watching him. I actually paid a ticket to go watch Jordan Peterson speak. I used to love watching or following his Bible series when he originally did that. Some of his early podcast appearances were fucking fantastic. Some of the lectures were really good. I watched those in full, but I don't know what happened. Maybe it's when he started wearing like colorful suits. When he started when he crashed out on meth or whatever, and he had to move away to fucking Russia because his wife had I think his daughter gave him benzos and he got addicted to it. I don't know what happened, but the fall off, the Jordan Peterson fall off has been so sad to watch, man. All my heroes are turning into looking like, dickheads, looking like cunts, looking a bit useless, looking a bit pathetic. It's pretty crazy. I have to find new heroes now. I have to find new people to replace Rogan, Jordan B. Peterson, and fucking Elon Musk with. Damn. Tate is facing Pearson is a big voice, in men's rights, while a small Kermit voice in men's rights. He's also an embarrassment, so much so that he has his own Know Your Meme page, which covers the time that he repeatedly retweeted an image from a fetish film, apparently believing it was a Chinese communist sperm extraction facility. He deleted it shortly. That's hilarious. Tate is facing human trafficking charges, but rose to fame as a voice for young men, a misogynist in bad outfits who does really cool things like smoking cigars and wearing sunnies inside. Hey, and trying to drag human rights back 100 years. Living your life to impress other men by hating women is one of the most embarrassing things I can imagine. Looking up to any of these men for how to live your life is even sadder. To be fair, this is not accurate, because I think a lot of men do hate women in general anyway. So I don't think it's like specifically an embarrass. I don't think it's specifically these guys trying to hate women to impress these like red pill guys. I do think most men in that community, in that world, hate women anyway. They just do. So when they hate women already and they find somebody maybe rabbiting, echoing thoughts they've had, in secret, they kept to themselves, they're definitely gonna be attracted to it and want to buy that person's ebook, want to join their Telegram group. It makes complete sense to me. I've worked hard to keep these kinds of men out of my personal life, to keep them away from me, out of my goddamn sight. Now that they're in my face daily, not only influencing the world for the worse, but making me nauseous at how uncool and pathetic they are, on top of their other sins, it's too much and I can't take it. There needs to be a change. It's time for us to start getting revenge on the nerds. That ain't gonna happen anytime soon. The nerds are the ones, they're the top guys out here at the moment. You know what's funny about these articles? The weird thing is, I think a lot of women are actually into these. They actually can't help being into the guys that they hate as well. That's also maybe part of the problem. So they have this feeling, this exaggerated feeling. They have this revulsion against these type of men. But more than likely, the guys that they're matching on Tinder, the guys they're matching on Hinge, the guys that they're going out on dates with, probably share a lot of the same opinions that these guys share, because I think a lot of men share those type of opinions. So we're just really living in a strange place in society at the moment. We just have to kind of get through it. And hopefully on the other side, things kind of brighten up. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But big up this lady, Rebecca Shaw.